What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Shouts out to everybody that's on the Patreon. Appreciate the love and support, man. Let's get right off into this. Man. So I want to talk about pages, chapters of my life. I first started out hustling from a friend of mine, man, who really taught me how to hustle. He started out a friend of mine named Mo. I'm gonna do a series on this. So me and him started out as good friends. We was somewhere around like I believe I was 13 or 14 when I met him. And I remember he told me, he said, "You want to go hustling?" I was like, "What's hustling?" Yeah, what's hustling? He like, "We gonna go hustle." Cause he had like about $1 or he either had $1.50 or $1 in his hand. He had one of the two. He said, "This is what we do." He said, "We go to the store and we buy candy bars for 50 cents. At that time, they was 50 cents. He said, we go to the store, we buy the Mint the Good bars because they looked big. He said, we buy them for 50 cents. Then we go to the white neighborhoods and sell them for $1. I was like, I ain't have 50 cents. But he had like $1.50. So he was like, just come on. He had a whole spiel and everything. He had a whole spiel of how he would talk to the people. So we'll go to the corner store in the hood and we'll go to the white neighborhood. So we knocking on these people's door and he like, okay, look, just hold the candy bar while I talk to him. So he knock on the door, they come to the door. Then he'd be like, they'll be like, who is it? Then he'll be like, it's Maurice, ma'am, or sir, whichever voice he is. Put on his white voice. It's Maurice, or we from the he'll be like, we're from what he had a name. He said we're from the children something association club. I forgot the name it was. Then the people come to the door, he'll be what's up. He like, excuse me, ma'am, don't mean to bother you, but we're from the children something association club. And if you buy one of these candy bars from us, you help get a gangbanger off the street. And he had a whole feel. He'd be like, you help get a gangbanger off the street and further our education to be something in life. Would you like to buy one of these candy bars, ma'am? Then they'll be like, sure, how much for the candy bar? Then he'll be like, all the candy bar costs is $1, ma'am. Then some people will buy for $1. Then he'll be like, see, it was just that easy like that. We'll go to some people's doors, we'll get some jerks. White people will be like, they'll be telling us, do you got a license to be selling that candy bars? A license? Like, that, they used to say that, you got a license to selling the candy bar? Like, no, we ain't got no license. Then you need to get away from this door. And I'm coming to the door. What did they call it? Soliciting or panhandling? When it's against the law to be soliciting. You ain't got a license to be selling candy bars. Then we'll have other people saying stuff like this to us, like they'll be saying, why should we buy them candy bars for $1 when we can go get them from the store for 50 cents? They used to try to sick their dogs on us and everything. Some of them people were just terrible, man. And we was like in a white people neighborhood and stuff like that. They'll be chasing us sometimes and everything, man. So it was stuff like that. But it was a hustle. So we'll be doubling our little money and stuff like that. We'll be out there selling them candy bars till we get up to like $20. $20. And to us, that was a lot of money like that. And he the one who taught me how to hustle. He also taught me how to skip school. They upbringing was different than ours. So he learned how to take care of himself at a younger age than I did. Because even though my mama was sick, my sister who was taking care of us, she still had us under control and things like that. She kept a house full of food, kept the house clean. We kept good things, you know what I'm saying? Even though we was in poverty, we had good things, you know. And we wasn't like Maurice. Maurice also had a cousin named Meaty, and we all became good friends too. So it was me, Meaty, Maurice, and one of my other good friends named Manny and Mike. We was like in Troy, in Little Troy. We was like the group that always kicked it with each other. Me, Manny, Meaty, Maurice, Mike. Dang, all them names. I just thought about that. All their names start with M's. I'm the only one who didn't have a name start with M. That's crazy. I never thought about that. So we all with the friends and things like that in the neighborhood. Now, Maurice and Meaty. Maurice was the hustler. Meaty was more so like the thug. He always wanted to just do dirt. Manny was like, Manny was the like in between of a thug and hustler. Mike was the fighter. All Mike liked to do was fight. Because he always wanted to just build up a name and reputation for himself. And plus his uncles and cousins them was the leaders of the neighborhood that was selling all the dope and had the influence over the people in the neighborhood. So with that being said, when Maurice taught me how to hustle, sometimes when we broke, we would go hustling. But for the most part, we just stayed around the hood doing what young teenagers do. Sometimes skipping school, sometimes just hanging out. But we would also be having little neighborhood fights with little rival guys and things like that. I, for the most part, was like in the middle of all three. I'm not gonna really say I was a hustler, though I would try to hustle with them when they would go hustling. But me and Maurice basically had to hustle because they mamas them, they didn't have it like that. So them brothers were doing whatever they could to get by. That's how come they knew how to do that type of stuff. And I was like in the middle, like a thug, but not really a thug, because I went home, went to school every day. We had curfew. My sister didn't play that, man. She didn't play that at all. She had us in line. So I couldn't be a thug like that or a hustler like that because my home wasn't broken like that at all. but theirs was. And I remember I used to have to sneak them food. Didn't have to, but I did because they were my guys. So when my sister would leave, she always say stuff like, don't let them boys in my house. She didn't like them. You know, I like your guardians, them just see people and know that they ain't no good because they got experience and they older, so they could already see a lot of traits in them that you ain't wise enough to peep out. So she used to always tell me, like, you better not have them boys in my house. She didn't like none of them, but one. She liked the Manny, you know, but she didn't like the other ones at all. And they knew we kept food and stuff in the house like that because my sister, she wasn't, at that time, she wasn't on no drugs or alcohol or nothing like that. So when she'll be getting food down for us, it definitely went in the house, you know. And she spent it all for the most part. So we kept a lot of food in the house. And my sister would leave and they'll be like, man, I'm so hungry, man. You got something there? So I go feed my guys and them, you know, feed them stuff in the house, you know, sneaking them food and feeding them and stuff like that, you know. And that's how it was for us. Then we grew up, we started growing up. And when we started growing up, things just started taking different turns for us. So we started going to prison and things like that. So I had went to prison. Then I got out. And when I had got out, at this time I'm like 20. At this time I'm 20 when I get out. And I get back in touch with Mike now. So when I get out, Mike don't find out. So I'm in the car with Mike. And Mike is telling me, like, man, you heard the new Tupac? I said, no, I ain't hear it. He like, man, it's cold, man. Tupac snapped. So he playing to me against the world. And at this time, I wasn't a Tupac fan like that. I was more so of a Vice One fan. So when I'm listening to Tupac, I'm like, his new album, I'm like, man, that's fire. So Mike put me up on the Tupac Me Against the World album. Then I'm just trying to get myself back on. What you want, baby? You want to charge it?
Yes.
Not chat. You ain't got to put on charger right here. Oh yeah, yeah. Here. So I get out and I'm just trying to feel my way through. Here. I'm just trying to feel my way through. You know, because I have been gone. So I'm just trying to feel my way through. So as I'm trying to feel my way through to get back in motion, I'm trying to get back up with the homies and things. Then I find out that Manny went to prison. You know what? Let me take it back some. I need to take this back some for y'all so y'all can get a clear understanding of us because this all leads to something. So while we teenagers in the neighborhood, let me just break down everybody's character. So Maurice is like the hustler. Meaty is like the thug. Mike is the fighter. Manny is a mixture of all three. Me and Manny was like the same. We was like a mixture of all three. We was partially thugs, partially hustlers, but we was also smart for what smart was at our age in that neighborhood. And I was a fighter. I was the better fighter out of them all, but I was smart. I didn't just fight people. You know what I'm saying? And most of the times I fought, it had nothing to do with me. Not most, all the times I fought, it had nothing to do with me. It had more so to do with them and what they was involved in. So Manny's mother, she was sort of like an alcoholic, but she didn't play neither. She kept a nice house, food and things up in there. Me and Maurice, for the most part, was the one that was living the foulest. And them two were cousins. They both their mothers were sisters, you know. And Meaty was just a troublemaker, man. He would always stay in trouble. He will always be involved in some type of trouble, man, that will get us in type of trouble, you know. And Maurice, for the most part, he just liked to trying to get money to get ahead any type of way he could. You know, he would always try to think of ways of how to make money out of something. And Mike was just a hardhead trying to build the name and reputation of himself. He always liked to fight. Because again, his uncles and cousins and them had all the influence over the neighborhood. So then we had D'Angelo. I'm just gonna add him. He came a little later, but he was basically like the pretty boy of the group, the ladies' man. So I would be like the one everybody looked up to. I had mostly all the talent, and I could do it all. But I didn't really come from a broken home like that neither, even though we all were poor living in poverty. So I remember when it's so many things to address. I'm just trying to see how to draft this. Oh, and just so y'all know also, we lived right across the street from Jeffrey Dahmer. At the time, Jeffrey Dahmer was living there, killing all them people. We lived right across the street, the alleyway from them. Like if you cross the street, that right there was Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment building. And I remember, depending on what part of the side of the hood we was at, if we was there, we used to smell the dead bodies in that alley. But we didn't know it was dead bodies. And we used to say it all the time. We used to be like, man, it smells like somebody died. It smells like somebody died in that right here in this alleyway. And all along it was him killing them bodies and dumping that dead waste in them garbage cans, them big super garbage cans. And it just smelled like dead bodies. And that's exactly what it was. So what ended up happening was my cousin moved right across the alleyway from Jeffrey Dahmer. So we would go over there a lot. And when we get to that alley, we would be like, we'll stop and we'll be like, we're going to hold our breath and run straight past it. Because that's how bad it smelled. You just knew it was death in there. So we'll be like, we'll get to the alley, then we'll be like, hold our breath. We'll be like, 1, 2, 3, go. And we'll hold our breath and start running fast till we get past the alley where his house was. That's how bad it smelled. But we didn't know he was killing all them people. We just thought it was just a bad odor. And it went undetected because it was big garbage cans. So a lot of people just thought it was rotten or smelly food. When in reality, it was human waste. You know. So that's how that was. Now, for the most part, I was sort of like one of the neighborhood favorites because they knew I knew how to rap and sing. So the OGs liked me, the little girls like me, and the fellas and homies like me, you know. So a lot of people like me. And in the process of that, my little team and guys, we just always stayed around each other to some degree. We would have roasting contests. We'd just be talking about each other all day, play fighting with each other all the time. We just was involved in whatever to make the day go. There was a white man in the neighborhood, one of the only white men in the neighborhood besides Jeffrey Dahmer. This white man name was, they used to call him Raj. And he used to have money. So he used to give a lot of the guys money and stuff. But come to find out, he was like some homosexual. He was like a homosexual. And everybody knew he had money. So a lot of people used to flock to him or be around him. But he also was a promoter. He also was a promoter where he would be like helping promoting these boxers and these rappers he had. And he'll be paying for their stuff and things like that. And it was said that he would be having sex with them for money and stuff, for his money and all that stuff. So he would always have a house full of guys at his house and things like that. And some of the young boys would be over there too. But for some reason, he didn't like me at all. And I didn't know why he didn't like me. He would be giving everybody stuff. He just never gave me nothing. And I remember word was getting around the neighborhood that, you know, he was a homosexual. So they started calling him Roger Dodger, the booty massager. They'll be like, Roger Dodger, the booty massager. And then people would be like, let's go over Raj's house. Let's go over Raj's house. And Raj would have all type of food and snacks, but he also was a gun collector. So he had a lot of guns and pistols and stuff too. So I remember he bought Manny a lot of clothes, a lot of designer clothes, starter outfit and gear at that time. Manny was my best friend out of everybody. Manny's mother got wind of him when Manny came home with all them clothes. You know, his mama was like, where you get them clothes and stuff from? Then he was like, he got it from Raj. And his mama was like, why is that man buying you stuff? And then he was like, because I asked him to and he cool. So his mama wasn't feeling that. She was very abusive. So his mama was accusing him of messing around with the homosexual dude. Saying stuff like, that man ain't finna just be buying you all this stuff for nothing. And just because he was cool and he called himself looking out. And she trying to get him to confessed some stuff was going on between them two that I didn't know nothing about. I didn't know nothing about if it was true or not at all. But she started getting physical with Manny. And she just got the, let me see it back. And she just got the beating him and stuff. And she got the beating him and stuff as a result of it, you know. So, oh, she got the beating him and stuff as a result of it. Hold on. I'm on it now, bro. All right. Huh? No, I did it already. What do you mean he got his van, his car? Okay. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. We finna get down to the dirt. I gotta tell y'all this. Let me take care of something right quick. Shouts out to everybody on Patreon. Yeah, I'm finna break this down. Don't even worry about that. I gotta take care of something, though. I'll be right back.